You wake up with a plan, but by midday, it's already unraveling. That task you swore you'd do? Still untouched, just like yesterday, and the day before that. You tell yourself you'll start after lunch, after one more scroll, after you feel ready, but that readiness never comes. Only guilt does, heavy and quiet, like a shadow that never leaves. You're not lazy, you care deeply, but somehow, the doing never matches the knowing, and you're left wondering, why can't I just follow through? You're not alone in this. Millions battle the same invisible war, and for centuries, Stoic philosophers have not only faced it, they've solved it. So in this video, we're peeling back the layers, uncovering why you procrastinate and how. Stoics eliminated delay, not with hacks or hustle, but with ancient truths that still hold power today. And hey, before we go deeper, if this already feels like the conversation you've been needing, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. This channel exists to help you win the battles you fight in silence. And if one part of this resonates, chances are the rest will too. Now, let's dig into the truth Stoics knew that modern minds have forgotten. Procrastination isn't a time problem, it's an emotional one. Most people think they just need better scheduling, more reminders, a louder alarm. But what they really need is to understand what they're avoiding. You're not lazy, you're not broken, and your dreams didn't disappear. They're just buried beneath an invisible weight. That weight is procrastination disguised as comfort. The "I'll do it later" that feels harmless, but steals years in silence. It's the enemy you invite in every time you scroll instead of study, every time you binge instead of build, and like rust, it eats away at your potential, slowly and without drama, until one day, you wake up and don't recognize the person in the mirror. See, the Stoics didn't call it procrastination, they called it self-deception. Epictetus said, "How long will you wait before you demand the best for yourself?" That quote isn't motivational fluff, it's a warning, because every delay reinforces the habit of delay, every excuse becomes easier to repeat, and every repetition becomes your identity. Procrastination isn't a time issue, it's a truth issue, a values issue. You say you want change, but your actions tell a different story. And here's the hard truth. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your systems. The Stoics understood this long before productivity gurus gave it a name. They believed that discipline starts with clarity. You must define the person you want to be, not vaguely, but vividly, and then act daily in alignment with that version of you. Not when you feel like it, not when life slows down. Now, so next time you find yourself reaching for distraction, remember, you're not just avoiding a task, you're training your mind to run from reality. And every escape comes at a cost. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You could be good today. Instead, you choose tomorrow." That line cuts because it's true, and you feel it, don't you? The days you wasted pretending you had time, the things you could have done if only you had started when it mattered. But here's the redemption. You can reclaim your time, moment by moment, choice by choice. Because procrastination is a pattern, and all patterns can be broken. You just have to be bold enough to break the first link. And hey, if this is already hitting you deep, don't just watch in silence. Comment below, "I'm done delaying," because saying it out loud is the first swing of the hammer. Let's shatter the old pattern together. You keep waiting for motivation to show up, like some mythical creature that will drag you off the couch and into your dream life. But here's what the Stoics knew. Motivation is unreliable. It's fleeting, emotional, and worst of all, it's external. And when your actions are dependent on external fuel, you'll always be powerless when the fire runs out. Seneca didn't talk about motivation. He talked about preparation. He talked about habit. He wrote, "While we wait for life, life passes." Because the Stoic way is not to wait, it's to move. Discipline isn't born from feelings, it's forged in friction. The friction between who you are and who you want to be. And that friction is supposed to feel uncomfortable. That's the point. You want to stop procrastinating? Then stop worshiping motivation. It's not your savior. It's your excuse. You don't need to feel like doing it. You just need to do it. That's why the Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, the visualization of adversity before it arrives. They imagined the worst so they could act at their best. No surprises, no delays, just deliberate effort, because they knew The more you expect discomfort, the more power you have over it. Discipline is a decision repeated over and over until it becomes identity, until it becomes default, until showing up becomes who you are, not something you wait to feel. And listen, this is where most people fall off, because they think discipline means perfection. It doesn't. It means returning quickly, consistently. The Stoics slipped too, but they returned faster. That's the difference. So the next time you say, "I'll wait till I feel ready," ask yourself, what if ready never comes? What if the only way to feel ready is to act anyway? Because that's the Stoic way. Act first, feel later, and if this resonates with you, even a little, tap that like button so the algorithm can help others wake up too. We're just getting started. You keep thinking procrastination is a time problem, but it's not. It's an emotion problem, a fear of discomfort disguised as delay. You don't delay the task. You delay the feeling that comes with it, that sinking heaviness of starting, that whisper of self-doubt, the tight grip of perfectionism. And so you scroll, snack, sleep, anything to avoid the tension. But Stoicism isn't about avoiding emotion. It's about mastering it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What if the task isn't the enemy? What if your reaction to the task is what's truly exhausting you? Because once you accept that the emotion isn't going away, you stop waiting to feel fearless, and you start showing up despite the fear. The Stoics didn't try to erase fear. They trained themselves to move with it, to act within it, to respond with reason even while emotion screamed loud. And that's what separates the disciplined from the distracted. Not that they feel less, but that they obey emotion less. They sit with discomfort and still do the work. They feel resistance and still take the next step. They hear the voice of delay and still whisper back, "Not today." You see, emotion is loud, but it's not truth. It's not reality. It's just a chemical signal bouncing through your body. And the moment you recognize that, you reclaim control. So the next time your brain says, "Let's just do it later," pause, breathe, acknowledge it like a passing cloud, and choose action anyway. Because discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when every fiber of you resists it, especially then. And that choice? That's the beginning of everything you've ever wanted. Every time you procrastinate, you're not just postponing a task, you're slowly eroding your relationship with yourself. Because each delay whispers, "I don't trust me." And over time, those whispers become a belief that you're unreliable, that you're not someone who follows through, that you're someone who starts and stops, dreams and defers, plans and panics. You see, procrastination doesn't just waste time, it wastes identity. It chips away at your sense of self-respect until one day, even your wins feel accidental, even your goals feel like fantasies, and that quiet voice in your head says, "Why bother?" The Stoics knew this pain well. Seneca warned, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Every moment you delay what matters, you reinforce a version of you that's smaller than your potential, a version that bows to emotion, that negotiates with laziness, that lets fear rewrite the plan. But here's the truth, you're not lazy. You're just misaligned. You're not weak. You're just untrained. You've never been taught how to guard your time like it's sacred, how to see each choice as a vote for the kind of person you want to become. The Stoics didn't believe in magic. They believed in habits, tiny, consistent decisions that build momentum over time. They trusted effort more than motivation, action more than inspiration, discipline more than desire. So here's what most people don't realize. When you delay, the task remains, but your self-image shrinks. And when you show up, even in the smallest way, the task shrinks, but your confidence grows. So start, not because it's the perfect time, but because you deserve to be the kind of person who does. The kind who honors their word, the kind who shows up when no one's watching, the kind who trades self-betrayal for self-trust. And that starts now, not tomorrow, now. You don't overcome procrastination with hacks, you overcome it with identity. Because the truth is, you will never consistently act like the person you don't believe you are. And this is where the Stoics separate themselves from the crowd. They didn't ask, "How can I feel motivated today?" They asked, "What would a disciplined man do?" And then they did that. No bargaining, No waiting for a sign from the universe. No blaming the weather or their upbringing or the algorithm. Just aligned action, over and over again, until it became who they were. You procrastinate because your mind is louder than your values, because you think you need clarity, when what you really need is commitment. Marcus Aurelius didn't have productivity tools, but he had principles. He wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being." The work of a human being, not a robot, not a perfectionist, not someone who always feels like it, but someone who does it anyway. And here's where it gets real. You don't need a new plan. You need to stop betraying the plan you already have. You don't need another morning routine. You need to stop hitting snooze on your potential. You're not here to consume. You're here to become. And if that resonates, you'll love what we're building here on Stoic Discipline, because every week we take these ancient, gritty principles and breathe fire into them for the modern world. So if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time to join the tribe, because this isn't just content, it's armor for your mind, your time, and your future self. Click subscribe, and let's keep building that unshakable you. There's a subtle trap most people fall into. It feels like progress. It even looks like discipline from the outside, but it's just a smarter form of delay. It's called motion, and it's the enemy of true action. You read another productivity book, you reorganize your workspace, you watch a video on how to build routines, you color code your Notion dashboard, but you're not doing the work, you're preparing to do the work. And preparation is seductive because it gives you the illusion of movement. But the Stoics didn't care about appearance, they cared about essence. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And that includes the imagined burden of starting. Every second you spend overthinking is a second stolen from action. Every list you rewrite, every schedule you tweak, every excuse you polish is just another way of postponing your becoming. Real action is raw, uncomfortable, imperfect. It doesn't always look impressive, but it builds something motion never will: momentum. And that's what the Stoics mastered. They didn't aim to feel ready. They aimed to do what needed to be done, because that's how you train your mind to obey your values, not your moods. You don't need a new planner. You need to close the loop. You don't need better conditions. You need to act within the ones you have. The clock is ticking either way. And the question is, will you let motion rob you of your days, or will you reclaim your power through decisive, imperfect action? Let's keep going, because in the next part, we'll reveal the inner war you must win to finally eliminate delay. And it's a battle most people aren't even aware they're losing, but not you, not anymore. At every moment, there's a quiet war happening inside you, between the person you are and the person you're trying to become. It's not loud, it doesn't announce itself, but you feel it. That tug of war between your impulses and your intentions. One voice whispers, "Just 5 more minutes. Let's do it tomorrow. It's not urgent." The other voice? It's quieter, but firmer. It says, "Do it now. This is who we are. Choose purpose over comfort." The Stoics called this inner battlefield the domain of the prohairesis, your rational will, the part of you that chooses, regardless of emotion, chaos, or temptation. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people have given up that power. They're ruled by cravings, by distractions, by fear of discomfort. They think they're in control, but they're just passengers in a car driven by impulse. Discipline isn't about controlling the world. It's about controlling your response to it. And that control starts with self-command. When you sit down to work and the urge to scroll hits, you're not just resisting an app. You're choosing who you are in that moment. When you feel tired and still show up, you're not just building consistency. You're reclaiming the throne of your mind. That's the inner war. And winning it doesn't come through intensity, but through repetition, through quiet victories no one sees, but you feel them, because each win strengthens your identity. Discipline is identity reinforced through action, not once, but over and over again, until the voice of your higher self becomes the only one you obey. Now, let's explore a brutal Stoic truth that can shatter your procrastination instantly. It's not motivational, but it's liberating in the most unexpected way. Let's uncover it together. You think you have time. You really do. That's why you delay. That's why you scroll. That's why you waste hour after hour pretending tomorrow will be better. But what if tomorrow never comes? What if today was all you had? Would you still be putting things off? Would you still be saying later? Seneca warned us centuries ago. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. And you can feel it, can't you? That quiet guilt in your chest when another day ends unfinished. The regret of untouched potential. We don't procrastinate because we're lazy. We procrastinate because we believe we're immortal, as if we have an endless supply of days to burn. But Stoicism throws ice water on that lie. It reminds us that death is not a distant visitor. It walks beside us every single day. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you, because nothing silences procrastination like the realization that time is slipping through your fingers. Right now, this second, gone. The project you keep delaying, the book you never write, the business you don't start, they're not waiting, they're dying. With every moment you surrender to distraction, you don't need more time, you need more urgency. And Stoicism gives you that, not with fear, but with clarity. Memento mori, remember death, not as a dark thought, but as the ultimate motivator. A Stoic doesn't run from death. He uses it as fuel, as a reminder to live fully, act boldly, and waste nothing. So the next time you hear yourself say, "I'll do it later," ask one question: what if there is no later? It's not just the big decisions that shape your life. It's the tiny ones, the quiet, unnoticed choices you make every single day, like reaching for your phone the moment boredom creeps in, or opening one more tab instead of finishing the task in front of you. These are the silent assassins of self-discipline. Not loud, not obvious, but lethal. And the worst part is, they wear a mask of normalcy. You don't see them as dangerous. You see them as just one quick break, just 5 minutes on YouTube, just one more scroll through TikTok. But these habits compound, and what they steal from you is not time. It's presence, it's clarity, it's your ability to sit with discomfort and push through it. The very muscle self-discipline is built on. The Stoics called this out long before phones existed. They warned about surrendering to ease, to fleeting pleasures that leave you empty. They taught that if you don't command your habits will command you. Discipline isn't forged in dramatic moments. It's forged in the ordinary. It's built in those tiny decisions when nobody is watching, when you could drift, but you don't, when you could delay, but you act. So here's your test. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Catch yourself in one of those micro habits. Interrupt it. Take your attention back, even just once, and you begin the rebellion. You begin the real work. Because if you can't say no to the small distractions, you'll never conquer the big ones. So, how do you fight back? Not just once, but daily. Not with raw willpower that burns out by noon, but with a reliable system that aligns with who you want to become. The Stoics had a word for this: ascesis. It means training, not punishment, not hustle porn, but consistent, deliberate mental exercise. And you need this kind of system if you're going to kill procrastination at the root. Here's what that system might look like. Start with preparation. Marcus Aurelius began his day by anticipating hardship. He mentally rehearsed interruptions, frustrations, even laziness. Why? Because when you expect resistance, you don't get surprised by it. You're ready to act anyway. Then, you structure your time. Seneca said, "Nothing is ours except time. So treat it like gold. Block it, protect it, assign it a purpose. Don't wake up and wing it. Plan your deep work, but also schedule your rest. Otherwise, rest becomes disguised delay." Next, you simplify. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear foolish." Let go of the need to do everything. Pick one task, one direction, and go deep. Multitasking isn't ambition, it's sabotage. And finally, review your day. Each night, ask, where did I show strength? Where did I fall short? And how can I do better tomorrow? This is how you turn days into momentum, and momentum into character. Discipline is a practice, not a personality trait. It's not something you have, it's something you do. Daily, you want to stop procrastinating, but the truth is, most of your delays don't come from laziness, they come from noise. Many tabs open, Too many voices in your head, too many fears trying to drive the wheel. The Stoics didn't just train their minds to act. They trained their souls to calm. Stillness isn't passive. It's powerful. It's the weapon that cuts through distraction, through overwhelm, through the panic of, "I have so much to do and I've done nothing." Seneca wrote, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." When you live in constant motion, you start nothing meaningful, and worse, you finish nothing that matters. Stillness creates space for discipline to breathe. You don't just react, you respond. You don't just hustle, you hone. So take a walk without your phone, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Journal the one task that will move your life forward today. That's not laziness, that's war strategy. That's clarity sharpening its sword. And if you've found value in this so far, now's the time to subscribe to the channel. This isn't just self-improvement fluff, it's battle-tested philosophy for people who are tired of being stuck. Every week, we dive into Stoic tools that help you build real mental toughness. And if you're here watching this, you're probably someone who's ready for more, so subscribe. Now, let's move to the final part. It's tempting to wait for motivation, to wait for the mood, to wait for the timing to feel just right. But that's the trap. That's the lie that feeds your procrastination. The Stoics didn't wait, they acted. They understood something most people ignore. The only moment that exists is this one. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, not when you feel like it. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others, unless with a view to some mutual benefit." Translation, stop overthinking. Stop stalling. Start doing what needs to be done. Even if it's small, even if it's messy, even if it's only 5 minutes. You don't need a 5-hour window. You need 5 minutes of courage. You don't need a new planner. You need a new mindset. You don't need to do everything. You need to do something now, because action is how you interrupt the cycle. Action is how you reclaim control. Action is how you become the person who doesn't just think about the life they want, but actually builds it, brick by brick, choice by choice, discipline by discipline. If you've made it this far, know this: you're not broken. You're not weak. You're simply at a crossroads, and the Stoic path is calling. So when the voice in your head says, "I'll do it later," whisper back, "No, I do it now." And then do it. That's the Stoic way. That's how procrastination ends. Not with fireworks, but with a quiet, steady decision, made in this very moment, by someone who is finally ready to act.